ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, 7th ಇಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಣ್ಣ. Hemolytic anemia. Under this we are going to see about the definition and classification of hemolytic anemia. Hemolytic anemia. Hemolytic anemia is a condition in which RBCs are destroyed from the bloodstream before their normal lifespan is over. Hemolytic anemia results from an increase in the rate of red cell destruction. About 1% of the destruction every day is normal in an adult. Lifespan of normal RBCs is 120 days after it enters the peripheral blood from the bone marrow. After 120 days, it is removed from the circulation by reticuloendothelial system, mainly spleen. Bone marrow has the capacity to increase the erythropoiesis 6 to 8 times than normal. Therefore, hemolytic anemia may not be seen until the red cell lifespan is less than 30 days. In hemolytic anemia, lifespan is shortened by 15. Hence, bone marrow will usually increase RBC production. If production compensates destruction, person may not manifest anemia, which is called compensated hemolytic disease. But in moderate to marked hemolysis, compensatory mechanisms are not adequate and features of hemolytic anemia are seen. On to the types of hemolysis. There are two types of hemolysis. Intravascular hemolysis, which takes place in the vascular space, and extravascular hemolysis, which takes place in the reticulovascular hemolysis. Extravascular hemolysis occurs within the macrophages of the liver, spleen and bone marrow. The extravascular hemolysis is an exaggerated of the normal mechanism of removal of senescent red blood cells. Exaggerated means it is pulled out or appears greater than the normal. Senescent means aged or older cells, growing cells. Now let us see the normal mechanism of extravascular red cell destruction. So this is the schematic representation here, what you can see. Senescent or old red blood cells are phagocytosed by the reticuloendothelial cells of the spleen. From here, hemoglobin is released into the reticuloendothelial cells and broken down to heme and globin. The globin part enters into the globin part is broken down to amino acids and enters into the amino acid pool, and it is reutilized to synthesize alpha and beta chains. Heme part. Heme part is made up of iron and protoporphyrin. Iron in plasma is carried into the iron stores like bone marrow and is deposited there. Protoporphyrin is converted into bilirubin, which binds to the serum albumin, that is in an unconjugated form, and circulates in the blood. Conjugation of bilirubin takes place in the liver, and conjugated bilirubin is excreted via bile into the intestine. That is, it is utilized during the digestion. Conjugated bilirubin is degraded by the gut bacteria, that is gastrointestinal bacteria, into various water soluble colorless, collectively known as urobilinogen. Most of the urobilinogen is oxidized further to stercobilinogen and excreted in the feces as stercobilin. About 20% of the urobilinogen are reabsorbed from the intestine, that is ileum and colon. They are returned to the liver and recycled directly into the bile again. A small portion of this reabsorbed urobilinogen is found in the blood circulation and is filtered by the kidney, that is renal glomerulus, and excreted in the urine as urobilinogen and urobilin. This is the extravascular hemolysis mechanism. Other findings we'll have to see in the intravascular and extravascular findings. There is increased unconjugated bilirubin, that is indirect bilirubin leading to jaundice. There is increased urobilinogen leading to high colored urine, increased fecal stercobilinogen which causes dark colored stool, increased iron stores, that is increased iron released from the heme is stored in the bone marrow, decreased lifespan of red blood cells, absent or diminished serum haptoglobin which binds with hemoglobin. Then last, increased serum LDH level in intravascular hemolysis. These are the other findings seen. On to the classification of hemolytic anemia. Hemolytic anemia are classified in a variety of ways. Location of hemolysis, that is based on where the hemolysis takes place. If it is in the vascular space, then it is called intravascular hemolysis. If it takes place in the reticuloendothelial system, it is called as extravascular hemolysis, which I have already told. Source of defect causing hemolysis, that is intracorpuscular defect and extracorpuscular defect. This is the basis of hemolytic anemia classification. If it is due to intracorpuscular defect, then intracorpuscular means intrinsic red cell defect, then it is called as intracorpuscular defect or intrinsic defect. And if the defect is due to extrinsic causes leading to early red cell death, then it is called as extrinsic defect or extracorpuscular defect. And the third one is you have mixture of both intrinsic defect and extrinsic defect. The mode of onset may be hereditary, that is congenital, or it may be acquired. Acquired is after. So coming on to the intrinsic defect. Intrinsic defect, as I already said, it is due to the intrinsic red cell defect, that is red cells, internal part of the red cell defect. So here we may see mainly the red cell membrane defect is seen, enzyme defect is seen, and hemoglobin defect is seen. So intrinsic defect are membrane defect, enzyme defect, and hemoglobin defect. Examples for membrane defect are hereditary spherocytosis and hereditary elliptocytosis. Examples for enzyme defect is G6PD deficiency and pyruvate kinase deficiency. Example for hemoglobin defect are thalassemia, hemoglobinopathies. Under hemoglobinopathies you have sickle cell anemia, unstable hemoglobin, etc. The acquired one which they have shown here, you can categorize it as a mixture of both defects, that is intrinsic defect and extrinsic defect. Both are seen in case of PNH, nocturnal hemoglobin. Extracorpuscular defect are classified as immune hemolysis and non-immune hemolysis, that is immune mediated and non-immune mediated hemolysis. Under immune mediated hemolysis, that is antibody mediated hemolysis. Examples, you have autoimmune hemolytic anemia, you may have warm antibody autoimmune hemolytic anemia, cold antibody autoimmune hemolytic anemia, paroxysmal cold hemoglobinuria. Alloimmune hemolytic anemia. Under that you have hemolytic disease of newborn, hemolytic transfusion reaction, mismatched blood transfusion, or you can also call as RH and ABO incompatibility. Under non-immune hemolysis, you have physical agents and chemical agents causing infections. So physical agents, you have lead poisoning, snake venom, and chemical agents, you have lead poisoning, snake venom. Physical agents, you have extensive burns, prosthetic cardiac valves, etc. So non-immune hemolysis may also be seen due to infections like malaria, Clostridium infection, cholera, etc. can be seen. Finally, the condition where there is mixture of both intrinsic and extrinsic defect, which I already told. Examples for those are paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, G6PD deficiency, and drugs. With this, we come to the end of classification of hemolytic anemia.